In this video we are going to be talking about how to answer brain teaser questions. So you know, when you get to banking interviews, finance interviews, even interviews for companies like Google, Facebook and all these tech companies, it's likely that you might get asked a brain teaser question. What on earth is a brain teaser question? How on earth do I approach these? Now that's what we're going to be talking about today. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Afsar Hussain. You can find out a bit more about me through the social media links below, or you can check out my website, which is www.afsarhussain.com. If you aren't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn. And for those of you that do follow me on Instagram, thank you for participating in the votes and the polls in order to decide what content I put out each week. In last week's video, we spoke about 8 reasons why the course you study at university doesn't really matter for getting into banking, finance, consulting, etc. And so in today's video, we are going to be speaking about brain teasers, brain teaser questions, interview questions, how to smash them, how to ace them, how to do well in them, how to approach them in order to succeed throughout the interview and throughout the brain teaser questions that get asked to you. Before I continue, it would be extremely useful if you can let me know if you're a university student or if you're a pre-university student in the comments below. That way that will help me create content that's relevant for my audience. So do leave a comment below. And be sure to watch this video to the end, because I'm going to be doing a giveaway which I'm excited to announce, because I think you guys have been really kind to me. You've been watching a lot of my videos and the channel is growing quite consistently. So I think it's only fair that I do a giveaway for you. Okay, brain teaser questions. They can either ruin your interview or make you feel like they've ruined your interview, and we are all going to face them if we're applying to investment banking, asset management, any other banking, finance, sales, trading, consulting, business, technology, fintech, any type of these companies or industries. You can expect to have a brain teaser question in your interview. It's often the case in interviews you're going to be faced with 3 or 4 types of questions. The first of which is the typical competency type question, where they ask you to tell them about a time where you led a team or solved a problem or had to deal with a difficult individual or created a solution. Basically, tell me a time when you did X and then what was the outcome. So you answer these by giving your STAR approach: situation, task, action, result. Those are the competency-based questions, and we're not going to talk too much about those today because we're focusing on brain teasers. The second type of question is the technical question. So any question that is there to test your knowledge about that specific role, the industry, that particular business area, anything technical. So there's competency and there's technical. The third type, which is not as common as the first two, it is situational judgment tests. So they might give you a situation, let's say a client example. So a client asks for this, how do you get the solution? Or what is your best approach in order to work with your team internally in order to solve this problem? Situational tests put you in a situation, and they are there to test how you prioritize, time manage and act accordingly in the best interest of the company or the client. Now the fourth type of question are the brain teaser questions. These are known and dreaded by many students because they tend to throw students off during the interview, and they are harder than other questions to kind of prepare for. Reason being is you don't know what you might get asked, and the thinking or the thought process is often required to be outside of the box. However, hopefully today we're going to make you well prepared for brain teaser questions, and so when you get asked them in the interviews, you'll be able to just answer them very, very easily. Competency, situational, technical, brain teaser questions. Don't forget those. You want to prepare for those. If you want me to do a video on how to ace your competency based questions, how to approach situational judgment type questions and do well in those, as well as how to ace your technical questions or prepare for them, leave a comment below, give this video a like, and I'll be sure to make those or add those videos to the list. Brain teaser questions are there to test 6 key competencies in you. The first of which is your problem solving skills. How good are you at creating solutions for problems? The second of which is your creativity. You know, are you an individual that if given a problem can think outside of the box and come up with a creative solution? The third of which is how well are you at thinking on your feet? Can you work under pressure? Have you got strong analytical skills? And are you a critical thinker? So these are the 6 competencies: problem solving, critical thinking, analytical skills, the ability to think on your feet, working under pressure, and how creative you are. These are very important, and this is what Brainteaser questions test. So make sure you are aware of those. It's very important. Also, bonus tip, in your applications, whether it's your CVs, cover letters, when you throw in key buzzwords such as these competencies, analytical, creative, proactive, work under pressure, think on my feet, blah blah blah, attention to detail, these stand out and they actually help you get further along the process, because these are the keywords and the competencies that the companies and the employers and recruiters are looking for in your application. So keep that in mind. Okay, now before we go into some examples of questions, I want to tell you the best way to approach any Brainteaser, and it's a 3-step process. The first step is really and truly understand the question. When the interviewer asks you a question, do not feel the need, and too many students do this, do not feel the need to just automatically blurt out the first thing that comes to your mind. Take the question and think about it. Really understand what the question is asking, because if you can't understand the question, you're not going to be able to provide the right or relevant answer. Step 2 is ask clarifying questions. If you need a bit more color, a bit more information, if you want to check the rules to the question, if you need any more information, anything, if you're unsure about anything, make sure you ask the interviewer for answers to any clarifying questions. That's 2. And the third and final way is, the most important thing you need to do when answering this question is thinking out loud. Now, many of you might think, okay, understand the question, ask clarifying questions, and think out loud are basic tips, or it's common sense. You'd be surprised, it really isn't common sense. The purpose of a Brainteaser question is to test your thought process. If I'm interviewing a student, the only way that I can test or understand their thought process is if this student is thinking out loud. So I want to see how you go from A to B to Z, right? I want to see what steps you take to go from problem to solution. And so it's imperative that you as a candidate do your thinking out loud. So when you're thinking about it, don't just do the calculations in your head. Make sure you're saying it out loud so the interviewer can listen to how you think. And if you're lucky, many interviewers can be quite nice. If you're thinking out loud and you're going off on a tangent, or you're approaching it in the wrong way, the interviewer might step in and guide you. They might hold your hand a bit and help you out. So it's very important to think out loud. So always remember, understand the question extremely well, ask any clarifying questions, and think out loud to display or demonstrate your thought process. Okay, now you're probably wondering, what are these Brainteaser questions, or what type of Brainteaser questions exist? There are 3 main types. The first one is the how many question. So this Brainteaser question often comes in the form of, how many X is there in Y? So for example, how many light bulbs are there in the UK? How many telephone boxes are there in London? How many barbers are there in Chicago? How many plates are there in IKEA? How many computers are there in America? How many books are there in the world? All of these questions, how many X in Y, are there just as any Brainteaser to throw you off. My advice to you is, oftentimes it's good to just step out of the picture, go very macro or go very high level, and ask yourself, if this was a real problem and I was given the task of finding a solution or solving it without any resource, what next step would I actually take? So if you're asked how many light bulbs are there in the UK, the first thing you might want to consider is, what is the UK population? Now always remember that the interviewer doesn't care about the right answer. They don't know the right answer themselves, I guarantee you it. They don't care if your calculations and working are correct to a T. That doesn't matter. What they care about is how you get to the answer. What's your thought process in getting to the solution? That's the most important thing. How you get from one step to the next, and why, the logic around why you're going from A to B to C to D. That's the most important thing. Now, the second type of Brainteaser question you can expect is the riddle. Riddles can, be a fun task to do. Try and have fun with these interview questions. They're there to kind of catch you out, but if you can do them well and get the answer, it's a very good feeling, and it's usually impressive to the person interviewing you, because not many candidates will be getting them right on the day of your interview. So riddles, once again, step back. Riddles are there to test your creativity and to see if you can think outside the box. It's worthwhile Googling, if you've got an investment banking interview coming up, Google search investment banking Brainteaser questions. If you've got a finance, Google, fintech interview coming up, Google search previously asked Brainteaser questions at Google interviews, because you'd be surprised, sometimes they might come up and the solutions will be there. You learn something new that you might not otherwise, and you minimize the chances of being caught out in the interview. So it's worthwhile doing that type of research. And then the third and final type of interview question that can come up in relation to brain teasers is the maths question. The maths questions are there to test your probability skills. They're very statistical and probability focused, and so they will test your calculations of fractions, for example. I'm going to give you 3 examples from each of these categories, and let's see if you can get the right answer and leave it in the comments below. So how would you answer how many telephone boxes are there in London? That's one of the how many questions. How many telephone boxes in London? Okay, second one for you is, if I shrunk you to the size of a £1 coin and put you in a blender, and the blender was going to start in 60 seconds, what would you do? The third question is, if I've got 2 fair die, or two dice, which are both 1 to 6, and I roll them, what are the chances, what's the probability of the sum equaling 9? If you find the answers, or if you think you know the answers or the right step-by-step process to answering these questions, do leave them in the comments below, and I'll be reading them and getting back to you as soon as I can. Those are the 3 types of questions that you can expect. You've got the how many question, riddles, and then the maths questions. But more than anything, what I wanted to tell you is it's okay to be stuck. If you're unsure, the best thing to do is take an extra second or a few seconds to think about the answer. Ask yourself, what would you do if this was a real case situation? And if you're still unsure, it's completely fine. Try and have a guess. Don't just make up a guess. Try and have a rational guess, because it shows the interviewer that you're unsure, but you're having a go at it given your intuition and your rational thinking. And it's totally okay to say to them, my thinking to answer this question would be to blah blah blah. Give your rational thinking why you think this is the best way to do it, and then say to them, but I'm not sure if that's the right answer. What would you say is the best approach to this question? Ask them. Be open, be honest. It's a two-way conversation. You know, interviewers prefer students and candidates to be open and honest rather than trying to blag their way through the questions and through the interviews. So be open and honest and ask them what their answer is or what the right approach is, because that shows that you're curious to find out the answer to something that you weren't aware of, which shows you're curious to learn, which is always a good sign. Now, I did mention at the beginning of this video that I will be doing a giveaway, and so if this video gets 500 likes, I'm going to choose someone from the comments below to give a free cover letter structure to. Now, this cover letter structure is the one that I used that helped me get an internship at Goldman Sachs. And so if you want to be in for a chance to win that cover letter, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, turn on post notifications, and leave a comment below. Thank you. Who's messaging me? Oh. Hi everyone, I'm Queen Mary student halfway through my master's degree. What? I'm at risk of getting deregistered for not being able to cover part of my tuition fees. If you read my story and donate in any way you can, that will be much appreciated. Interesting. Okay. Alright, I just got a message on WhatsApp. This is literally, what a coincidence. I just got a message on WhatsApp. Some student from Queen Mary, so that's where I studied, graduated in 2014, studied economics and finance, is at risk. They're currently halfway through their master's degree. They are at risk of being deregistered for not being able to cover part of their tuition fees. And there's a link. If you want to help this student by donating, do go to their fundraising page. You know what? I'm just going to link it below. It's www.gofundme.com/raising-money-for-my-tuition-fee. Do check it out. If you are not in a position to donate, don't donate. But if you do, and if you can donate, do donate to this guy's cause, because he's trying to get through university, do his masters, and better himself. So I think it's a reasonable cause. Thank you in advance if you do donate, and thank you for watching this part of the video. And I apologize for putting this, it might be irrelevant, but I think it's important content. Yeah. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I do weekly videos every Wednesday. And if you want to have an influence on the videos I create, make sure you follow me on Instagram, and that way you can vote on which videos I release every week. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Peace.